Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking Gun Reviews, and we're back to talk more Expanse. Today we're talking about Season 4, Episode 10. It is the season finale called Cibola Burn. I don't know if it's Kibola or Cibola, whatever. Cibola, though I looked up, it's kind of, it's about, it means kind of like the lost city of gold kind of meaning, like a city of riches, a southwestern term like El Dorado kind of. Otherwise, I always like have a hard time understanding some of that stuff. But what a season finale it was. They really leave us on a cliffhanger. It's unbelievable how this all turns out. Definitely a setup for a lot of things for next season. Hopefully we can improve on a few of the things that I have a problem with, but most of it I don't really have that much of a problem with. I'd still like to see them do this week to week, but I don't think that's going to happen. But this will be, if they don't go to that way of doing things, this will be the last single episode review that I do for The Expanse. And that kind of bums me out. Going forward also, like just to let you guys know, the contest is still going for the Blu-ray or DVD of your choice of Season 1, 2, or 3. The contest will be going a week after this video upload, so a week from today. So next, what's today? The 3rd, so like on the 10th, I believe it is. We'll announce the contest winner. You have to be a subscriber and have left a comment on any of this Expanse Season 4 videos. Yeah, so you get your choice of Season 1, 2, or 3, Blu-ray or DVD. Once again, you got to be a subscriber and you got to leave a comment. And not a lot of people are commenting, so you got a pretty good chance of winning. That was the other thing about this, is it's been a real bummer. I suffer from pretty bad anxiety, and when people weren't watching these videos really, or I wasn't getting the response that I wanted, it made it real hard to continue doing them, and it was one of the reasons why I decided not to do episode to episodes anymore of The Expanse if they don't do it week to week. So next year, this coming season, for Season 5, I'll be doing just one great big review. It'll be worth it. It'll be a great big expansive review, no pun intended. Moving forward though, that's how it's going to be. But I really do love how this episode turned out. But before I get to that, one last thing. If you're a fan of this channel and you're not a subscriber, please become a subscriber. And if you feel so inclined, you can donate to the channel and help make it better, so we can afford better equipment for making our videos here. You can go to my PayPal at paypal.me/smirkingunreviews, or go to my Ko-Fi page at ko-fi.com/smirkingunreviews. So, full spoilers if you have not seen this episode. I appreciate a lot of you guys bringing up the fact that this book was a Western. This season was more of a Western, and I see it now. Once it's come full circle, the stuff that's on Eilis, at least, very Mertry's the black hat, the rest of them are the white hats. You get the CRS being like the bad guys, and Holden and the crew being the good guys, and you got the Belters being kind of like the town that needs to be saved in a Western, mixed in with a huge sci-fi story. And everything really comes together here, and we say goodbye to a very, 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 very much loved character. I really dug this character, and now he's gone. But at the same time, I'm relieved that none of our core characters are gone. I really thought Holden or possibly Amos was going to die this season, and it didn't happen. But it is The Expanse, so who knows what the future holds. We're going to break this down by what I felt was the biggest, least important stories to the most important stories, is how I saw them. And so first we're going to be talking about avasarala, just briefly. Agadashlu portrays this character so well, and it's hard to see her in the state that she's in, but politically, like I said last episode's review, she's playing the Game of Thrones, man. And when she finds out from Holden what happened on Eilis, when he finally is able to report to her that, everybody, like the right people are in custody. The Belters and the RCS members that didn't start anything are going to stay behind and start rebuilding and studying the place. Mercury and them are in custody. Anybody that tried anything. But this, for Avasarala politically, this couldn't be any worse. Right on the cusp of the election where she's barely winning. And now this basically proves Gao's point that anything is possible out there among the rings. That, she doesn't have all the facts. But she's going to be able to use that information to prove that she was right and Avasarala is wrong. And how Avasarala looks at it, it's, again, like I said, she's playing the Game of Thrones, even though I love what she says later on. That politically this is bad for her, she's going to lose. Hopefully I'm thinking that morally she understands, but she really does still want the best for the universe, or for Earth, and everybody that's involved, whether they're Martians or Belters or whoever. But this season did see her go down that kind of pretty questionable route, and I loved it because it gives her character more depth. Because it shows she's still human, She's not just some caricature. Then, Gao wins, and she sends this message to her saying, this chair is not a throne, which I thought was a great reference to, like, what I was thinking is, the Game of Thrones. This is not a throne. You're not a queen. You're not royalty. You're not like some emperor who's allowed to just do whatever you want. And then she says, one of us is wrong. I think it's you. I hope it's me. That's fucking awesome. That is great writing there. I really dug it. I also like that we didn't get any more of Gao. I didn't want to hear, because every time I see her face just being all, I don't know, I know that, like, power comes and power goes in shows, but it's just, every time I look at Gao, I just see this smugness and how she really doesn't know. She has no idea how any of this is working, and she's going to be a major pain in the ass. I can just fucking feel it. So I'm glad we didn't get any, her, like a scene with her coming in to be like, hello, Avasarala, blah, 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 being all smug and shit. But this is the exact time that Bobbie messages her. We can't talk about Bobbie's message until we talk about what happens to her. And we find out that for Bobbie's side of the story, which, again, it sounds like there's going to be more, at least she's possibly going to hook up with some of our main characters again, I think, now that the situation on Eilis is dealt with. And they should be coming back, maybe. I'm hoping that maybe they'll get involved with helping Bobbie resolve what's going on Mars. Because her and that Lily girl, who's just, the worst. One of the worst. Everything's the worst. But she's the worst. And, she's looking into that deal they're both looking into the deal with Beltran. They both don't trust him. Even though Lily at first was kind of like, who cares, right? But all of a sudden she's flipped the switch in her brain and is wondering what's going on too. This all seems too easy. That it feels like a setup, which in the end, it is. It's more than that though, because Bobbie finds this guy dead. They say he had a coronary, coronary, like people just have heart attacks sometimes. It just makes me think of like certain deaths on the X-Files where somebody just had a heart attack, and I'm going to stop doing the quotation marks right now, okay? I'm sorry. So he ends up dead. She tries to call Isai, who's not hearing any of it. He's just like, we're going for it anyway. When Bobbie makes it there, she sees it's an ambush, and everybody gets shot down. It's like freaking, they didn't have a chance. Like, Lily's still alive, but everybody else gets killed. And Bobbie's trying to save whoever we could. She shoots a few people. Lily makes it out. or she tells her to go, but she doesn't. Isai dies there because he was so desperate to get off planet that he was going to go forward with this plan no matter what. Bobbie finds, tries to stop the people that did this. They leave a bomb, and this is where, this isn't just a setup. It's a set up. Like, they were set up. That this was like a huge, like, what I mean is, things were set up to happen this way. Not just some simple set up. These people were just set up. I gotta stop saying it like that. I'm trying to make a point. Like, this was somebody's bigger plan. This isn't just one simple, oh, we've gotten enough out of these people, let's set them up. This whole plan was this part is just a part of a huge, bigger plan. And the bomb goes off. It's really impressive. I know it's all CGI, but it looked really good. Everything coming down. Her dragging Lily out of there. And realizing we were all supposed to die here. This was all supposed to mean something to these people. That right there, look at this. I'm just pointing this out right now. That look on Amos's face, man, was priceless. Wow. Have I been talking that much already? Anyway, she gets out. She calls. Lily takes off. She tells her to get out of here. Good riddance. And she realizes she's going to stay and try to figure out what's going on, but she needs help. She calls avasarala, but avasarala can't help anymore because she's out of a job too. And she's like, hey, I could use that job because I think we need each other right now. But I think at the very least, avasarala will be able to point Holden and crew maybe to helping her. But they're going to be looking for Philip, which is something we got to start talking about now. But we're going to first talk about what happened on Eilis. So whatever Miller did, and elvi almost going through herself there, turned the reactors back on in the ships. Alex immediately is not fucking around with the other ship. He's like, I've got my shit trained on you. You make a move. We are going to have a serious conversation. I like how Lucia says we will all answer for what we did. Because you hear her daughter going, and the inners are going to pay. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Elvi talking about how she feels the space between things, and Holden telling her that he feels it too every time he goes through the rifts. It's kind of like when you've touched something alien like that, like the proto-molecule, it's going to have these lingering effects. Amos is alive, as we see behind me, of course. I love that Holden has to tell him, don't kill Mercury while I'm gone. But when he climbs up, I don't know how long that must have taken, right? Because how long did it take for him to get down there? The whole planet looks dead. Everything is just all the artifact. The whole planet just looks like one giant city almost, under like like Cybertron or something like that. I don't know how else to put it. Like a Death Star, where you can go inside the whole thing's like the planet's really a whole in city, like Coruscant maybe, or a little bit like that, except internal, not external. And it looked really, really cool. Alex consoles Lucia, and Holden tells Naomi, well, she's going to get... They know that when they give her over to, the authority, that she's fucked. So Holden says, well, when you tried to get her out in space, it's a shame that you didn't save her. And so they're giving her a second chance. Whether she deserves it or not, in my opinion, it's a very nice end to her story, because she didn't mean to, but at the same time, I'm also like, I don't really care about this character, so I'm kind of like, well, she should probably pay for it. Other people have paid for things, but it's fine. As long as her story's over and we never have to see her again, because like I said, I don't have any kind of... I don't care about these characters, some of those, the townsfolk of Eilis characters. That's just my own personal. If you guys love them, fine. But the Eilis camp now has a second life, and that's nice. The proto-molecule that Miller said, get rid of it. that's on the cargo bay. They shoot that into space. I love Holden's speech, little words to Miller that he couldn't say in front of Naomi, that you were right about everything. And basically, even with Miller being dead, Miller's been dead, and he's still saving everybody's lives. Or at least he was. And it really that part got to me, because he doesn't even have to be there to understand, like, the power of his character and even the proto-molecule, how it really was trying to stop this too, is kind of an interesting thing, because you don't really get to see it in any other form that a human would recognize. It chose Miller's form to communicate, and so it's kind of like doubly proving that it never wanted to really hurt us, in my opinion, in general. The hand looks good. Gonna test it right now. That leads us to the Amos part where he goes in and just that look when he gets punched by Mertry and then just smiles like maniacally, man, and says, yeah, thank you. And just proceeds to beat the shit out of him. Now, did he kill him? I don't know. But he looked like he was about to enjoy the next couple of minutes. Naomi asking Fred Johnson for help finding her son Philip. Well, little too late. Little too late on helping Philip right now, I believe. This is gonna be one of those stories of, I can reach my son, I can find him, I can turn him, I can change him, I can show him what his father is, and it's like, well, it's a little too late for that, in my opinion. Sad, but his kid seems to be pretty much a pretty big believer in what his dad's doing. So that gets us to what to me is the most impactful part of the story. And I saved it because look at this, that badass right there coming through, shooting the guys and everything. Ashford. Ash's search for Marco. Figures out what Mars is doing, selling all the weapons off to people like Marco. He's still preaching peace between everyone, that we have to start looking for new ways of doing things. Coming from the man who was ready to end a lot of people's lives in season 3, has really come around, has come full circle. And that's usually what it means, what happens to characters like that when they finally turn around and get their redemption arc. That doesn't bode well for your character, whether you're on Lost or The Walking Dead or even The Expanse. As badass as Ashford is, and figures out what Marco is doing with the rocks, he's going to use them as weapons. He tries to get information from the Martian, but he kills a Belter. The Belter kills him. Again, the cycle continues. But he catches up to Marco, who is disguising the rocks with stealth technology. So again, stuff that they got, I believe, from Mars, so that he can fling it at somebody. Ashford gets in there, but it's too late, because Philip, Naomi's son, has his gun here on him. Now, I don't know why he didn't just shoot Marco. I know he says you can't stop this, but I myself choose to believe that you could have shot him in the head. Do you really think Philip could have gone through, figured this all out on his own if you just blew away Marco, even if you die? Maybe you guys know something I don't. Is he out of bullets? If you're going to die anyway. But then you could also say that Ashford let himself be taken because he records the conversation here for proof of what's going on. But honestly, if you kill Marco, like I said, would Philip be able to figure out how to do all this on his own? Would he even have the balls to do it on his own? This is like, I'm sure people are going to call me out on this and explain it to me why, but it's not something it has to be explained to me. I see the different angles. If you want to tell me what you think, great. But unfortunately, and it was fucking foreshadowing that I should have seen coming when Ash said that he wanted to see his pretty face floating in space, that Ashford would end up getting airlocked himself, tossed out the airlock. And that was sad. But he went out on his own terms, recording the information so that everybody knows that it was Marco that did it. But he's planning on flinging an asteroid at Earth. And that's how we end it. And that's fucking bananas. I mean, that's literally where we end it. Ashford sacrificing himself so that I'm hoping Drummer finds him and his message. But in the end, I mean, it's like, sure, you have proof that it's Marco that did it, but I don't know. I still say you shoot him in the face. But pretty powerful stuff. A pretty great ending. The last 3 episodes of this season really came together. I thought the first beginning was really good, but we had some episodes there in the middle that really kind of, I don't know. I'm not going to call them filler, but this was not my favorite season. This was, I honestly have to say, was my least favorite season. It has some incredible moments, and none of the performances are bad, and none of the production is bad. None of that. It's not a reflection on the show. It's the story on Eilis that really just didn't grab me as much. I loved all the planetary stuff and figuring out, what's going on down there, but the whole Belter RCS thing and that just kind of, to me, just was weak. I didn't care. I didn't care what happened to the Belters. I didn't care what happened to the RCS. I wanted my core group of people to figure out what was going on that planet. And so since that took up a lot of time, this ends up becoming my least favorite season. But by calling any season of The Expanse my least favorite season, I hate saying that. But out of 4 great seasons, this is the one that I like the least. But I still really, 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 really liked it. So, anyway, can't wait for next year. I'm praying that Amazon will start releasing these seasons a week at a time. I'm hoping that a lot of streaming services start doing that, realizing that people will only come to your channel, only subscribe to channels, literally kind of like people do on YouTube sometimes, where people only come to my channel for one thing and then they bounce, and then they come back when the show comes back and the reviews come back. It's the same way people buy subscription services. If you keep them having to come back week to week, you can have guaranteed money. People can't do a full month trial and be free of it. They have to take another month. They know you'll at least get another month or so of money from them. So that's just my plea to Amazon. Start releasing this show week to week so that I don't choose to not cover this in the way I want to. And I know people will say, well, you could still do it on your own time, but blah, blah, blah. But with the views I got for this and my own anxiety taking over and feeling like nobody wanted to watch any of these and things like that, when I see people that I don't like that do The Expanse and they're getting a lot of views, again, my own personal, it just kind of got to me. But anyway, can't wait for season 5. Sorry I kind of go off on little tangents there. Maybe that's why people aren't watching. Anyway, if you like this review, please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Otherwise, we will be back next year. If this is the only videos you watch on my channel, we'll be back as soon as season 5 comes back. It might take, if it's not back weekly, if it's still dropped all at once, it'll take me a couple of days to get through and make one great big review. But otherwise, we'll see you on season 5. Have a great day, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye.